Right, so in today's video it's going to be another interesting one, as I'm going to be comparing the flagship action camera, the DJI Osmo Action 6 versus the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Now both of these action cameras are absolutely outstanding in my opinion, and I've done plenty of testing with the Ace Pro 2 as that's been out over a year now. And to date I've only had the Action 6 since release date. It's been out a couple of weeks now. So today's conditions are perfect for comparing action camera versus action camera on the split screen as you're about to see there. We've got a really nice bright sunny day, so that's going to be great. We've got a lot of blown out areas, a lot of light areas there, as well as a lot of shaded areas. So we're really going to test out the 13.5 stops dynamic range on both cameras there. And also to get the fairest comparison, like I do with all action cameras when I'm comparing them on this rig, I'm going to be going in automatic mode, standard Dewarp, 4K 30 and HDR, high dynamic range is going to be enabled on both cameras, because on the Ace Pro 2 you can switch that HDR, the high dynamic range, on and off. But yet still with DJI, it's embedded in the software there, the high dynamic range, so there's no way of turning that off. The only workaround there is to film in, let's say, D-Log, but then I've got to colour correct it, so it's not going to be a fair comparison against the Ace Pro 2 there. So when you're looking at the specs on both of these cameras, the only major two differences now with the flagship camera from the Action 6 is we've got that larger size sensor, that 1/1.1 inch sensor, but in the Ace Pro 2 there, we've still got that 1/1.3 sensor. And then on the Action 6 we've now got a variable aperture. Now that's an interesting one, because when you're comparing action cameras, like I did with the Action 5 Pro versus the Action 6, I left that variable aperture on the 6, and I'm not a fan of it, to be fair, because I don't want that aperture opening and closing, let's just say from which it starts at the f-stop of 2.0 and it works its way up to 4.0. Yet a traditional action camera is always locked in at f2.8. Although it's in automatic settings today on both cameras, I'm going to be going into the Action 6 settings and setting the aperture there to a fixed f2.8. So everything's almost identical. So that way I can get the best comparison out of both cameras here. Halfway around there I'm going to do an audio test, an inbuilt audio test on both cameras, talking to the front and the rear, just to see which is the best audio clarity there. So now I'm going to go around filming some clips for you, so really do pay attention to both screens there, as I'm going to split that screen and let's just see which camera performs the best there. Here we go. Right, so start the video off just walking across this path, and I'm in a really light area as you can see, but then soon to be in a shaded area just as the tree foliage there, but soon going into a shaded area. And just looking on back of both screens, the Ace Pro 2 looks hell of a lot darker than on the Action 6. And now I've spun the cameras round, the sun's directly behind me, so which camera's handling that the best there? Again, as I've said before, on other models, on other cheaper action cameras, I would almost be a shadow by now. So which dynamic range working the best there? Right, so now this is going to be a great stabilisation test. I'm just going to walk up these steps normally, not really taking care I'm walking up. Just got the selfie stick in front of me. My arm's slightly bent there. So which stabilisation looks the best there? And then this is a heavily shaded area, walking in this channel. Just at the beginning of the video now, which one's looking the best? Straight into the sun there, and I'm going to rotate left. Just keep an eye on both cameras. I think the Action 6 performing best in those shaded areas with that dynamic range. But that's on the back of these small screens. I've not yet seen this on my monitor. So now I've spun both cameras round again, and that sun's really strong in my face now. So on this split screen side by side, which one's looking the best there? And you're going to hear me say that a lot today, which one looks the best there. But again, that's what this video is all about. If you don't own either of these cameras, by the end of this video, you're going to see which one you like best there. So which one looks the best there? Right now this is going to be a great dynamic range test, because as I'm walking across this path, I'm going to pan up at the church now, and the sun's really strong to my right, so it's casting that shadow, and I can see on the back of these screens yet again, that Action 6, I can see the detail, what is really shaded to the naked eye. But look at the Ace Pro 2, that's a lot darker than the naked eye. So I'll just slowly walk down this path and I'll do an audio test now. So what you're listening to right now at arm's length is the Action 6 audio. I know that's clear and crisp, but if there's any wind noise I find it hypersensitive there. But there's no wind whatsoever, so there shouldn't be any wind there, and I'm talking to the front of the mic. And now you're listening to the Ace Pro 2 microphone. Again, it's the same conditions. There's no wind. It's at arm's length. So which audio sounds the clearest there? Do you prefer the onboard microphone on the Action 6? Or do you prefer the Ace Pro 2's onboard microphone? So this shot will be interesting, pointing straight into the sun, and it's peeping behind each tree there. I'm not going to say it. Which one looks the best? And on the way around filming these clips today, I'm just going to do a battery comparison check. So on the Action 6 we've got the 1950 milliamp battery, and I've been filming for about half an hour now. We're on 91%. And on the Ace Pro 2 we've got 1800 milliamps there, so there's 150 milliamp difference to the 6 to the Ace Pro 2, and that battery life's also on 91%. So up to now they're performing the same, but I'll keep updating you along the way. And now we've got another heavily shaded area, and I can see yet again the Action 6 looks a lot brighter than the Ace Pro 2. And whilst I'm going around filming these clips, I also want you to keep an eye on the stability of the screen, because I've noticed with these action cameras, especially since after they introduced that 45-degree lock and the 360-degree lock there, the horizon balancing, the horizon steady, I've noticed sometimes when filming like I'm filming in normal mode now, no matter which camera it is, the screen can start to sway sometimes. And that happens quite a lot sometimes since they introduced that software, which is the 45-degree lock and 360-degree lock. So it's a strange one, that. So if that happens today on either camera, I'm just going to leave it in for you to see. Again, I will keep saying it, but the Action 6 looks a lot more usable. Although I'm looking at the back of these small screens, it's going to be different when I get back on the monitor. But once again, I do think the Action 6 is winning today. So pay attention to this shot on both cameras. This is a real heavy shaded area. That's the blown out area, which I'm going to go over to next. But this one facing me, again, which one's looking the better camera there? Once again, both cameras are facing straight towards me. That sun's really strong behind that camera lens. I'm not going to say it. Right, it's time for a battery check update. I've been filming for just 1 hour 5 minutes at the moment. We're on 84% on the Action 6, and on the Ace Pro 2 we're at 78%. Right now I'm going to do an onboard microphone test with both cameras. It's also a great dynamic range test, as that sun's really strong there. So it's 2 in 1 here. So I'm exactly 1 metre away and I'm talking to the Action 6 right now. So is it usable and clear on the Action 6? And now switched over to the Ace Pro 2, exactly the same tempo, 1 metre away. Does it sound better than the 6? And now you're listening to the Action 6 at approximately 5 metres away. There is no wind, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're hearing some kind of wind over that microphone on the 6, because it's really sensitive. So what's the audio quality sound like there on the Action 6 at 5 metres? And now switched over to the Ace Pro 2 at 5 metres. Does that sound better than the Action 6, or vice versa? And now I'm walking back, talking to the Action 6. Now switched over to the Ace Pro 2. Which one sounds the clearest there? Again, I'm back at 1 metre, good dynamic range test also, on the Ace Pro 2. And now switched over to the Action 6, again at 1 metre, good dynamic range test. Which one sounds and looks the best there? I'm just going to walk down this channel again, down these steps, keep an eye on the stabilisation. Heavily shaded area yet again, and the sun's going to be really strong as I walk around this corner. Which dynamic range is looking the best there? And yet again, I've spun both cameras round, We're going into a real shaded area in a second. That's the last of the sun. Which one handled that the best? I think I am preferring the Action 6 over the Ace Pro 2. But then again, it all depends on the lighting conditions on the day. Because sometimes you can look at the Ace Pro 2 and that looks more appealing than the Action 6. Now it's time for another battery update check there. I've been filming for 1 hour 45 minutes. On the Action 6, we're at 70%. Then on the Ace Pro 2 there, we're at 58%. It's nice to see planes doing what they should do there. But some days, they're crisscrossing in front of that sun. What do you think they're up to? Answers on a postcard. Yet again, another heavily shaded area. And that bright blue sky behind. Once again, which one's got the best detail there? Just going to do a panoramic sweep on both cameras here. Which one's going to perform the best? Just keep an eye on the detail in the background image. So it's a funny one when you're vlogging in public. For those who do YouTube videos like this, you know what I mean. You're always going to get looked at funny when there's a crowd of people. And now and again some people will say something. So up to now I've been nearly filming for 3 hours. I've had 4 people approach me. 2 of them saying, "Excuse me, what you doing?" The third one, "What you doing?" And then the fourth one, "What you selling?" What you selling? I'm not obviously selling anything. I did say I'm making a YouTube video. And then he just walked off. It's like, I might start putting them actually in. No, I'm not going to put them in footage. But when I do vlog in public like I've been doing in that town and things happen, I'll just tell you there. Sometimes it's funny. So now I'm almost finished filming for the day. So this will be the last battery check. I've not changed batteries at all today and I've been going for nearly 3 hours. When I haven't been filming, it's been in standby. Let's have a quick check. So on the Action 6 there, we're at 38%. And on the Ace Pro 2, we're at 17%. So both cameras' batteries performed really well today. Like I said, I've been nearly filming there for 3 hours. But obviously the Action 6 is going to win there because we've got that larger capacity of 1950 milliamps versus that 1800 milliamps in the Ace Pro 2. Now this video is not to pull any of the cameras down there. It's just an honest opinion, a real world test there. I just say what I see, I don't hide anything. That's why they're both in automatic mode. So I like to do that, like I said at the beginning, when I compare action camera versus action camera, because I believe that's the fairest comparison there. There's no point drilling into the manual settings and putting ND filters on, because that way I'm going to be confusing the people who are just getting into it. So I like to keep things in automatic mode. Now on my channel I do a lot of manual settings and filmings there. I also show you how to put ND filters on, and there's going to be a video of that shortly with the Action 6, as Telsin sent me some new improved ND filters, so keep your eye out for that video coming soon. So I think it's been a fair comparison today on this split screen with both action cameras, as I've kept it in automatic mode, 4K 30 standard Dewarp, and HDR high dynamic range enabled on both of them. But it is a shame that we can't turn that on and off with the DJI products, because on the Insta360 cameras there you can toggle that on or off, because you don't always want it switched on. But in this case today, the Ace Pro 2 had to be switched on, because on the Action 6 we can't turn it off. We can turn it off, there is a workaround there, we can turn it off like I said earlier if we film in D-Log, but then that won't be a true comparison because I'd have to colour correct the Action 6 against the automatic mode Ace Pro 2. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel, as there's going to be plenty more videos on the horizon, especially with testing out this newly released Action 6. But for now, thanks for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.